It's This Week in Bourbon, and would you give baby formula to a starving baby? Here's your headlines for November 14th, 2025. Tennessee Distilling is set to acquire Waterford Whisky. Michter's is dropping their 20-year-old bourbon, and Willett Distillery has announced their new Willett Family Estate small batch bourbon. And before we get started, here's a quick word from our partners. Hey everybody, welcome back to This Week in Bourbon. And this was not a very, we'll say, lighthearted opening to This Week in Bourbon.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It is called the social experiment of the decade.
Okay.
There is a woman, I believe that she's actually located either here in Louisville or here in Kentucky. And what she does is she is calling churches across the nation, basically people that request it. She's done over like 30 or 40 videos at this point, and she plays background of a crying baby and saying, "We ran out of baby formula last night. Can you help provide some baby formula?"
Okay.
What do you think happens?
Well, apparently the way you're going, they don't give them baby formula.
No, it's like 95% say, "Sorry, we can't help you."
Really?
All these churches, yeah. And she's called Joel Osteen's church. She's called like all these people, and all of them say, "I'm sorry, we can't help you."
Call Holy Trinity Church. I bet they'll give it to him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things.
Sad.
It's crazy. It's like I said, it's the social experiment of the decade.
It's Christians.
It's blowing up. And as soon as somebody says like, "Oh my gosh, like let me try to figure out how I can help," she stops it immediately and she says, "Hey, this is a social experiment. I was just trying to see if you'd be willing to help."
Yeah.
And I actually listened to like 3 of them on the way here and just trying to figure out like what do people say, and a lot of them are going, "The pastor isn't in today," or "This isn't really our kind of thing," or "Well, we're not really a food bank," you know. So it's kind of interesting to see like how the church, and by the way, it's not just Christian churches. She's called mosques, she's called Jewish community centers, she's called all these places. So it's not just a Christian thing.
So we're all hypocrites.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, like I said, it's not one of those lighthearted, fun, feel good kind of things that I usually do on here.
Gonna be a baby puking up formula reel you're going to show me.
Actually, now that you say that, there is actually a fun meme that is going around where like guys our age, maybe not our age, maybe let's rewind the clock back maybe 15 years. Let's say we're on our mid 20s or early 30s. We would go up to our mothers and we would lay on them, and because they miss having a baby, like but then we would basically spit up all up on them, and they'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" Be like, "Oh, I thought you missed this. Like this is what it was like having a baby."
Yeah, I saw there's this girl, Adley. She's like a social media coach trainer. She has an account called Viralish, and it was funny. She like walked up and she said, "Prepping my husband for pregnancy," and she goes up, like lays on him on the couch.
Oh yeah,
and then
just spits up on him.
Spits the milk out onto the shirt. So it was pretty funny.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
All right. See, it all came around to something fun and
That's
lighthearted.
right.
All right, let's talk about a few things. One, we have a few events that are coming up. I was just actually in our bar here in a second, and one of our ambassadors, Steve, said, "Hey, talk about Nulu Jingle Fest that's happening on Saturday this week." Ooh. So if you happen to be in the Louisville area, Nulu is having their Jingle Fest celebration where the streets are shutting down. They're going to have all kinds of, I'm guessing, holiday trinkets out for sale. But he's going to be partnering up with Taste Fine Wine and Spirits, which is right here in Nulu.
Great spot.
And it's going to be $10 Pursuit Old Fashions all day.
Oh, man. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to the Jingle Fest on Saturday. It's Saturday, right?
It is Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, Christmas is here. Our house is decorated inside. I'm like, I'm not doing the outside till after Thanksgiving, even though I should do it now while it's warm. I loathe hanging Christmas decorations.
I don't like it. I'll do it inside all day.
Outside, I just
kind of gave up on it.
It's just, but my kids pressure me, my wife, and I'm just like,
you get the peer pressure.
And I'm like, I'm on a ladder, and you're stringing all this shit, and then it's. I don't like it because you got to take it down a month later.
Oh, and you got to take it down the worst time of the season.
Oh yeah,
like putting up is one thing, but taking it down. Oh, it's. I mean, you're in sub temps.
I remember last year we the week after Christmas it was like New Year's. We had that crazy snowstorm, and then the snow stayed on forever, this and that. And so it was like February before we could get them off. We looked like rednecks out there. But
you're like, yeah, they still have their tree up and it's March.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's how it is. Yeah. Well, anyway, go ahead and go find, if you're new, then I guess you can find Ryan over at Nulu Fest as well.
Be hopping around. My kids, they'll be buying shit they don't need.
I think that's what most of these little small fests are. It's like,
they just had Nulu Fest, which is crazy. Like,
hey, it's a reason to shut down the street.
Main Street needs to get on board with some of these festivals.
I can't agree.
We're going to start a festival.
What do you want to call it?
I don't know. The Jingle All the Way Fest.
There we go. I was going to say, I was like, I'm trying to see where you're going to go with this one. I was going to go like Twinkly Nights.
We should do Eggnog Fest. Like we all just all the all the bartenders of the bourbon places. We do an Eggnog Fest, and we all come out with our favorite eggnog, and you judge who wins. And I think we need to do that.
I don't think this is a bad idea, Ryan.
Yes,
you have a lot of bad ideas. This is actually a good one.
10% are good.
And I'll say this because I was not a fan of eggnog up until I think it was last Christmas.
Jason Bronner's
eggnog. Well, we had Jason, and then also our guy Tim brought in his own homemade eggnog, because every eggnog you get, it's the same whatever kind of crap that you get is pre-batched and whatever. And when you have like a real eggnog that's made, you're like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't realize that I was going to be almost not able to drive.
Do we have enough time to make this happen? Probably not.
No,
next year.
Next year.
All right.
Next
I'll
year.
Talk to Michter's in Bardstown, Green River. Well, they're the same people. So
yeah, that's what I'd say. Well,
buzzards.
I think at this point, all you do is just make a 5-minute walk around the block and you can go talk to everybody you want to.
That's right.
But also, anybody that doesn't know, we're also having our own holiday pop-up.
Yes.
Here at Trial and Error in downtown Louisville. Yes, the ski lodge will be decorated here in the next week or two. So make sure you come and see us over at the lodge here at Trial and Error. I can't wait. I mean,
I can't either. I'm tired of driving around the city picking up Christmas shit.
It's been a lot of Facebook Marketplace and Hobby Lobby finds for the past couple weeks, but
we got a lot of cool stuff though. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and it's not going to be your typical Christmas sort of stuff. It's gonna be that ski lodge vibe. So we've got some antique skis.
Ski lodge.
Yes,
you'll feel like you're in Aspen when you're here.
I am. Did you get to try any of the new cocktails yet?
I've had 2.
I haven't tried any of them yet.
I tried the espresso martini, which I don't know what the new name of it is, but it's like an orange chocolate bark. It might be Jordan's best one that he's done so far, but I think that's the only one I've had.
Because there are a few of them. I saw that one that's a milk and cookies.
Have you seen that?
I took pictures of it, but I didn't get a chance to actually try it.
It's like a shooter, I think. It's a shot.
Well, no. I mean, if it's a shot, then it's the size of a regular water glass.
Oh, down the hatch.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Fire in the hole.
But it's white, it's creamy, it looks milky, but it's full of booze.
Perfect.
Yeah. They have that. There's the one called the Grinch that I took a picture of, and it is green like the Grinch. And then there's also the hot chocolate with double
Kevin. It's called Kevin.
Kevin with bourbon in it.
That's all right.
Yes. So I'm excited to be able to have that.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Buzz, your girlfriend.
Buzz is the best character ever.
It sure is. All right, let's dive into some bourbon news here real quick. So just a few things on the bourbon news side here. And the first one at the top of our headlines here was that Tennessee Distilling Group is in negotiations to acquire the collapsed Irish whiskey company, Waterford Whisky, for around 6 million, pounds. I guess that would probably be what it is under here. So Tennessee Distilling was co-founded by former
euros.
Yeah, you're probably right. It probably is euros, because pounds is like the L.
That's for England.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right. It definitely is euros. Thank you, Ryan.
It's semantics. No worries.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're well traveled.
That's right.
You can fix that for me. So anyway, this was co-founded by state legislator Mike Williams. This is Tennessee Distilling Group, primarily focusing on contract distilling bourbon and other American whiskeys. And if the deal is concluded, it will include the distilling facility, intellectual property, and the existing bottled spirits, but it will exclude the large volume of cask spirits, which is nearly around 7 million liters, currently held by receivers, and Waterford Whisky has entered receivership in November of last year. Tennessee Distilling also reportedly intends to reopen the distillery and invest in Irish distilling, while the receivers will likely sell the remaining casks over time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think TDG would want those aged casks, but I guess maybe the price they were willing to pay wasn't what the people in receivership were like wanting to get, so they'll just hang on. I'm not familiar with Waterford. I'm not a huge Irish whiskey person by any means. I know Jameson and Redbreast, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Powers, I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're stuck here in bourbon land, so obviously we're not in tune with what's happening in the rest of the world with whiskey. But apparently Irish whiskey is still a very popular thing.
I mean, Jameson's huge still.
Oh yeah, Jameson is. I can't tell you how many people that I've met that have come to our place and said, I was just a Jameson drinker or a Crown drinker or whatever it is until I really discovered how awesome bourbon can be. But it just goes to show you it's the slippery slope that gets you into this.
That's right. It's that low proof, really sweet. Irish whiskey is interesting because it doesn't taste like super malty like a single malt does. Maybe because it's not a single malt, but
probably not.
Anyways, I know they use a lot of malt in Irish whiskey, so it's interesting how the flavor profile is different. I don't know why that is. Anyways, but TDG, one of our favorite distillers in the country.
Why would you say that, Ryan? I'm just kidding.
If you know, you know. But they're bright business people. They're really smart. They have a great operation. So if they're going into this, that means it's a good investment, and they see them. I think it's positive for the spirits category. If they see potential in other categories, then that means they see good long-term growth in the whole whiskey space.
Yeah, we had talked about this a little bit off air, and I had mentioned that TDG is one of those places that just doesn't throw money around. They have at this point, I think, $0 in marketing budget.
Yep, we only market them.
Yeah, we market them, I guess. But they are pretty. They hold a lot of their cards to themselves. They're not huge spenders. So when times are bleak, I guess you could say, and the right deal comes along, they've got the cash. They've got the reserves that they can buy something small and they can wait it out.
You're welcome, TDG.
Yeah. I mean, good for them though. I mean, it's a smart idea. I'm sure that they made a lot of good money when times were great and they held on to it. They didn't overspend. They didn't try to say, hey, let's go ahead and dump $10 million into the next expansion, right? They just said, we're just going to ride this thing out.
Yep.
And we're going to keep collecting and see what's going to happen next.
Totally. Congrats.
Right. Yes. So here's the next one. It was kind of funny. I just grabbed this at the very end because it was in Mark Brown's newsletter. And I don't know, I guess not everybody has great luck, but this is kind of funny. Hong Kong Customs, they have reported a growing trend of traffickers concealing narcotics within bottles of alcohol and wine, underscoring the city's role as a major hub of the drug trade. So recent seizures have also highlighted the trend of an individual arrest of a 52-year-old man. He was arrested in Hong Kong International Airport attempting to smuggle around 1.5 kilograms of liquid methamphetamine disguised as alcohol with a street value of around 800,000, I don't know, Hong Kong dollars. I don't really know what that is in HK.
It's like $5.
It probably is. It's like, what's the point? Anyway, he was bound for Fiji. There was also a record cocaine haul in January 2024 where officers seized the city's largest ever liquid cocaine shipment of around 444 kilos. And that was hidden inside a bag of box of wine. And those are shipped from Brazil to China. And there was also meth and aromatic essence. That was happening in July. And that seized around 28 kilos of liquid meth. And that was concealed in 256 bottles of aromatic essence declared as water-based substances. Anyways, these incidents have reflected a worldwide pattern where smugglers utilize beverage shipments such as wine and mezcal to disguise drugs and use drinks companies as fronts for money laundering.
Very interesting. I guess we're going to see the Chinese version of Blow come out in the movie.
That was a good movie.
It was a great movie.
I haven't thought about any of those. And I to be fair, I love like the Cocaine Cowboy series, everything from Narcos and all those sort of things on Netflix. I love watching that. Everything.
They're all the same story, but yes.
I know. At the very end, it ends bad for everybody, but you just watch it and you're just like, wow, look at these guys. Like they take no crap from anybody and they go, I mean, they're drug dealers today, so I guess that's what's going to happen. But I'm always fascinated by it. And I just remember watching Narcos going at the very end. Remember when Pablo was by himself because he's trying to evade the law.
I didn't finish that series. Sorry.
And
I couldn't handle the translation. Like I didn't like.
there's a lot of subtitles. I get it. But he's just trying to. At the very end, you feel bad for him. You're just like, come on, he's done so much good for his town and the city, and you're like, well, he also decapitated probably a lot of people too. So I don't know who you're supposed to agree with on this one.
That or the churches that don't give diaper formula.
We give baby formula, right? All right, so here's our last news story. And Buffalo Trace is partnering with the Buffalo Field campaign to offer a unique tasting experience called Perfectly Untamed. And this is going to be in a remote tasting room in Wyoming, debuting in spring of 2026. So the tasting room features glass walls with views of wild buffalo. Guests will enjoy a private 2-hour guided Buffalo Trace bourbon tasting with Freddie Johnson. And the experience is limited to 6 reservations, each for 2 guests. Requires a $500 donation to the Buffalo Field campaign, and guests will also receive a $1,000 travel stipend and curated lodging recommendations.
Wow.
It was so funny.
Is this like a one-time thing, or is it a ongoing thing?
Well, yeah, I don't think they're going to be like, hey, Freddie, we're going to post you in Wyoming for the next 6 months.
I was like, how'd Freddie agree to that?
But I saw some of the images for this, and I go, this is the most AI-generated image ever.
Of buffalo?
I mean, literally, there's people, like, it's a table with glass walls in the middle of a field with wild buffalo roaming around.
Sounds pretty cool.
I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. It's like going fishing. Like, well, I hope the fish are going to bite today.
You hope so. It's like going to the zoo. Oh, they're asleep again.
Yeah. The lions didn't come out.
Sorry. Yeah. But here's your Buffalo Trace, and you'll see lions afterwards, or you'll see buffalo regardless. It's
kind of cool. I'll get along with that and get on board with it, because there's also some other exotic excursions. My wife is always, she's like, hey, look at this, where you can be at breakfast in the morning and the giraffes will poke their head through the window and, they'll eat the banana off your plate. I'm like, oh, wow, that doesn't sound annoying at all.
That sounds amazing. I'm with Lauren on this one. I like the exotic adventures.
There's also another one. I think it's somewhere in Africa. I think all the cool ones are in Africa, maybe because they haven't regulated anything yet. But you're essentially staying in these, like we have, speaking of pop-ups, like those snow globe kind of like clear whatever.
That went over like restaurants in the COVID or the snow globe thing.
Well, they'll do those in the middle of the desert or at this nice resort, and there'll be elephants that just like walk by you all the time.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Till they trample you.
Yeah. Well, I guess just don't spook them.
That's right.
Yeah. Make sure you have your clothes on inside your all you can see through igloo.
Just have a bunch of peanuts with you at all times.
There you go. Or anything else that they like to eat. All right, that's it for the bourbon news.
Oh, short.
I told you it was a short one, but we got a lot more bourbon release news, so stick around. All right, y'all, it is bourbon release news time, and we do have quite a few to get through, so let's go ahead and hit it. First is that Castle & Key has announced the 2025 Cask Strength releases. They have the Wheated Bourbon and Experimental Straight Rye Whiskey. The Cask Strength Wheated Bourbon is aged for 7 years, composed of 73% of local grown non-GMO white corn, 10% winter wheat, and 17% malted barley before being barreled at 108.2 proof. The Experimental Straight Rye
is barley bourbon, not a wheated bourbon.
It's barley a bourbon. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, 73, 10, 17. But you're right. Wheat is actually the most least dominant grain. There you go. And the Experimental Straight Rye is finished in extra old Haitian rum casks, aged 18-month in cask finished barrels and bottled at 116.1 proof. With only 1,800 cases produced, both expressions will be available online at castleandkey.com, and they'll also be available at the Distillery shop in Frankfort, Kentucky.
All right. Well, sounds exciting.
I do kind of want to try the wheated bourbon. I think it does sound enticing because was it last week we talked about the different kind of our flavors of corn we liked, and I was like, I like white corn.
Yes, you do.
I like white corn.
Yeah.
So I want to see what this white corn's all about.
I'm not a huge fan of rum finished bourbons, but
this is a rum finished rye.
No, I know. I was going to say I am interested in the rum finished rye. I've had a few that are decent rum finished ryes.
Well, and they spell rum Rhum. So I don't know if that means anything special.
Like
but
Rhum agricole or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I just take whatever the news articles give me here. All right. So our next one is that Southern Distilling Company has announced release of its second batch of its limited edition Southern Star Bourbon Finished in honey barrels, which we just tried this past week.
We did.
This first batch sold out almost immediately when launched last year. And beginning on November 8th, the bourbon can be purchased at the Southern Distillery Company tasting room and select ABC stores across North Carolina. It is a Cask Strength bourbon bottled at 108.4 proof, finished in a locally sourced honey-drenched barrel. Honey-drenched. In celebration of the launch, they will also serve 4 honey-forward cocktails at its Statesville tasting room, including The Buzz, which is made with Southern Star Double Shot and Southern Star Bourbon finished in honey barrels. This is also going to be available for $65, and it's in some holiday bundles, is what it says too.
It was tasty. I mean, we had it. I thought it was really good. Honey finish, it's not going away. So
as much as you wanted to hate on it,
jump on the train.
Just go ahead.
Got to drench those barrels.
Yeah, apparently you just got to get them just super soaked. Just go ahead and
soaked.
Just cover every square centimeter in honey, and that's what people want.
Yeah, but do like Southern Distilling's
distillate. How important do you think the actual honey is to the honey finished bourbon, Ryan? What do you think?
I think it's very important.
Yeah, we've tried.
Well, we've tried 4 different ones.
Well, you've tried 4, plus the other one that I brought, plus I think we've had at least a couple others come through here too. So
yes.
It is kind of funny about how many different varieties of honey there are.
And how they impact the flavor.
I know. And, I'm surprised.
I had no idea there was.
What if there's a honey pursuit? I think you should probably make that.
You can do a blind tasting of honeys. Because you have like the baker's honey, which is kind of like standard. Then you got like, your orange blossom or blueberry fields or whatever the bees are pollinating on. I
think it also
gives all different kinds of flavor to the honey.
Depend on region.
It does.
Kentucky, Indiana, everywhere. Everybody's got a different flavor of honey.
Yeah. I mean, the short barrel guys, they did the bee's knees, like they used, I believe it was Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia honey. Like they had 3 different releases. And you could tell the difference between all 3. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess when you have the same bourbon, you got to change out the honey, right?
Exactly. That's true.
That's how you make it interesting.
Yep.
Smart idea. All right, let's keep going. So Garrison Brothers have announced the 11th release of its limited edition Cowboy Bourbon.
Yeehaw.
Yes, and this is their uncut and unfiltered. This expression was aged for at least 8 years and bottled at, wait for it, 146.4.
Oh my God.
It's hazmat. Total 10,000 bottles will be available, and the first 1,000 will be available. First 1,000 will be available directly at its Texas distillery starting on Saturday, December 6th on a first come, first serve basis.
In a gift box with Marlboro Reds.
You think so?
Yeah.
Some cowboy killers.
That's right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think we all go back and maybe college days and be like, a few drinks. Like, I'll take a smoke, but I could never do a Marlboro. I'll take a Marlboro Light. I even do it a Newport every once in a while, but
gosh,
Marlboro Reds, no, I couldn't do it.
I remember mowing down some cigs in the day.
Mowing down.
And
just chasing those heaters.
The other day I was in our parking garage and somebody, I think they freaking just lit one up in the elevator. And like, I mean, I came out of there smelling like a bingo and I was like, how in the hell did I ever smoke cigarettes? Like, it wasn't like I was smoking daily, but when you go out and drink and
that's what we did when we were young.
I'm like, how the hell did I ever do that shit?
Yeah. And you go back and everybody just stank, but that was just normal.
Yeah.
Until they finally outlawed it in bars and you're like, oh, good.
We don't have to smoke anymore.
Oh, wow. This is actually kind of a great change of pace.
And then anywhere you went that was still like, I remember because, they outlawed them in bars, but Bardstown, you could still smoke at the bars there for like a year or so longer than like Lexington or Louisville. And I remember going into like TWiB Tavern and I was like, I can't even go in here.
It's just reeks.
Too smoky.
It actually is pretty good for society that we got past that, right? I mean, it was just walking through there. You're right. And funny you say a bingo hall of all places. But yeah.
Did you ever have to work at bingo hall?
No, I didn't have to work at a bingo hall.
So like for our Catholic school, the fundraiser, we go work the bingo hall and we'd sell pull tabs to these people.
You
And
got to explain people what a pull tab is, by the way.
So a pull tab's
it's the worst
like,
investment in history.
Oh yeah, it's like a little card with 5 different peelbacks, and there's a number. Basically, they pull a number, and then if you pull the number on there, then you win. And people would be having like 10 bingo cards, a carton of cigarettes, an ashtray, just mowing them right up, and then dabbing, selling pull tabs, buying. It was, I'm like, how these people focus on all this stuff going on? It's like they got the dabbers and the cigs and the pull tabs, but we made a lot of money doing that.
Oh,
way.
yeah.
No telling what it did to my health, at 16. But
Well, I think your lungs recover over time, but what doesn't recover is the money you spend on pull tabs.
Yeah.
Like I said, don't be wrong. Spending your money on a slot machine is still the worst bet. I'm pretty sure pull tabs are even worse than that because it's about the equivalent, but it's a manual pull every single time, but you have to pull back every single time to realize that you lost.
Now they just put it on a screen.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Let's keep going. So this was kind of a fun one when I saw this, is that it's a brand called Yeah Alabama or Yay Alabama. I don't know.
Is it YEA or
Y-A-Y? No, YEA.
YEA. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, Alabama.
Yeah,
Alabama. Yeah,
okay.
Alabama. Well, it probably because we are not, Roll Tide, Crimson Tide kind of people. That is probably from Alabama. Well, they're gonna correct me on this, but anyway, Yeah Alabama. That's the name, image, and likeness (NIL) entity for the University of Alabama student athletes, and it has collaborated with Bespoken Spirits to launch the Yeah Alabama bourbon line. The line features 2 expressions designed to celebrate the Alabama Crimson Tide. They have
maybe that's how they say it in Alabama.
Yeah, the celebrate.
Yeah.
Anyway, the standard is 94 proof, and it's a small batch finished with heavily toasted American French oak. And they also have the 1831 edition, which is 114 proof. And this is a bolder spirit finished with charred American oak. And I'm not going to talk to you about any kind of tasting notes, but anyway, the name honors the year the university was founded. The bourbons, which are designed to appeal to fans and collectors, will soon be available at ABC stores and independent retailers across America. Yeah Alabama is dedicated to create NIL opportunities for Crimson Tide student athletes.
Yeah, Bama. In Bespoken,
they're out of
Rapid
Lexington.
Age, weren't they like a Rapid Age?
They were a Rapid Age thing. They're based out of Lexington.
Not a Rapid Age person, but a Rapid Age company. But,
well, they definitely are.
But you've seen this trend with the NIL. Kentucky did one. I think it was called like Wild Cask or something. But I know Russ Smith has done it. He's done one at Louisville and then Maryland and I think Tennessee. And it's a great idea because fans are passionate. Alabama fans are just as crazy as Kentucky fans or U of L fans. And so I'm sure they'll gobble up and then pour the proceeds goes to NIL fund where they can, as NIL funds. I was reading last night because
I was like, please tell me more about this because I'm reading about this and I was like, I understand what NIL was about. Essentially, now that you still have scholarships, but we can now pay student athletes to be here and they can sign deals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally. So you can essentially you have like an NIL pool that like basically like a company, say like Planet Fitness or Suntan City locally can be like, oh, we'll donate $2 million to U of L for the NIL fund, but in return, whatever, this athlete, we want them to do like all of our commercial sponsorships, this and that. And so, I was looking last night, U of L, because they've gotten a lot better. I was telling my wife, I was like, man, how much NIL money did they spend? And I looked it up, it was like anywhere between 10 and 12 million. I was like, I wonder what Kentucky spent. And it was like 20 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so these NIL funds are just becoming huge because, it's now it's no longer try to get the best recruits. Now they probably were paying them behind the doors, but now it's just like an open market which is, you get really talented athletes, but it sucks. Like last night, I'm like, I don't know, half of these guys are,
No. And
they're like, this one was at Virginia and that one was at Pitt last year. And that was at BYU. And it's like, okay, so you just, can't finish it out to the school to give you a chance, but whatever, it's the time we live in.
I think that's the nature of what it is. It's like you follow the money. And I forget who it was. I think it was one of the ESPN commentators and basically said that this is the death of college sports as we know it.
Yeah, it's pretty much a minor league now.
Yeah.
It's and I'm sure Alabama has to be one of the biggest NIL funds like with LSU or Texas, Georgia. I mean, they have to have a massive fund. I bet they're in the 30 to 40 million bucks if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's just, as we're talking about basketball, saying that essentially what this has done is kind of gotten rid of the idea of that there will be a sweetheart or there will be a huge underdog that can make it to the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight.
Yep.
Like the days of that are probably going to be
long gone,
pretty much gone, because now that it's not about recruiting and finding somebody that, either like their dad really went to that school or whatever. It's like, hey, they're going to pay you a shit ton of money. Oh, obviously I'll just go over there. Like what? I don't care if my dad was a Bearcat. Like who does it matter at that point? Right.
Totally.
All right. Let's keep talking about bourbon though. And so this was our other headline, is that Willett Distillery has announced the release of its Willett Family Estate Small Batch Bourbon. This is a handcrafted whiskey that reflects the distillery's dedication, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the small batch release is a marriage of two distinct mash bills, so 70% of their 72, 13, 15, and 30% of its 52% corn, 38% rye, 10% barley.
Ooh.
Each batch is composed of around 50 barrels, distilled at a barrel entry proof of 125 and bottled at cask strength, which will vary by batch. The release continues under the vision of Drew Colsveen's, and the Willett Family Estate Small Batch Bourbon will be released in small, limited quantities nationwide. Sorry, I'm stumbling all over my words over here, but
yeah, I think it's a great idea because
really, I'll take the counterpoint, but go on.
Well, I mean, I think the barrier to somebody getting like a Willett Family Estate, I mean, you're spending north of $600 to $800 retail, and I think this is a way for people. I don't know what the MSRP is. I would assume it's. Did you say that? It
actually wasn't on here, but keep going. I might be able to find it.
I would assume this is probably more like 5 or 6 year old. Maybe I don't know the ages, but a pretty good bourbon. And it's probably like a couple $100 if I had to guess. And it's just a way because people always want purple tops. They've done this with the rye. They had a small batch rye that was in a Willett Family Estate, and then they had the single barrels of it, but the small batch rye is one of their best sellers. And so I think this is a brilliant move for the brand.
So,
because they have so many great brands like Pure Kentucky, Rowan's Creek, Noah's Mill, but that doesn't always translate, on the shelf. Like,
oh no, I totally agree. Like this family
most
crest,
people don't know that Willett owns those brands.
No. And that's why I was like, this family crest holds weight. Right. And I've looked through 3 articles. I can't find a single price point yet. I'm assuming it's not going to be crazy because you have the rye, which is like around $60 to $75, maybe up to $100, depending on where you're going and stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of look at it as almost like a dilution of what is something that is really great. I don't know. I kind of picture it as like a luxury good. And if you are an Hermes or a Louis Vuitton, and you make something that is just like for the common folk, like
but
does it lose
they
that?
Have products that are common folk,
and then they have Hermes, stuff, but Louis definitely does.
Yeah, they have like products that you can buy that are like Rolex. You have Rolexes you can buy that are somewhat affordable. You're not breaking the bank, but you have a Rolex.
I don't know how many Rolexes you've been shopping for recently, but it's still hard to find.
Well,
but there's
more
some
mainstream Rolexes. I get it, is what I'm saying, that aren't crazy, and then you have the crazy one-off Rolexes.
Yeah, but that's like you have different. But that's like that's their Rowan's Creek. That's their whatever. I understand it's under the Rolex family, but they're different models, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that is just bad branding overall by Willett, where they created Rowan's Creek, they created all these things, and then nobody knows it came from them because it's just it's a brand of things that nobody has any idea that it's all connected to. I don't know. Like I said, I just look at it and think if you create something like this that is let's say 100, sub 150, does that dilute the 14-year-old that is trying to fetch for $800?
I don't think so.
But it's just all in the eyes of the beholder. And I guess at the end of the day, does it really matter? Because everybody still wants that stupid pot still bottle anyway.
That's right. Best package in bourbon.
I mean, everybody still wants that one. I don't know. I kind of looked at it and I was just like, they had a thing where this was the single barrel, cask strength, hard to get. Everybody wanted it.
Elite.
What people talked about, the elite, the best of the best, and it was an echelon of its own. I'm just kind of wondering, like, did you really need to create an everyday offering for it?
I still think it's premium. I don't think it's going to be in that everyday offering price range. I think it's...
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
I think it's smart.
Well, speaking of something that's not an everyday price range here, is that Master Distiller Dan McKee and Master of Maturation Andrew Wilson have approved the release of the Michter's 20-year Kentucky Straight Bourbon.
Ooh.
And shipments of this is going to start in December 1st. And the release comes 3 months after they were named the world's most admired whiskey. And this proof for this particular release is 114.2. And the average retail price, $1,200.
They are pretty spectacular.
Yes.
It's too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
But if I saw one, I'd probably buy it.
Oh, if I saw one, I don't know if I'd be able to hold myself back.
If I've told this story before, I'm sorry, but I still have these regrets when I was in Naples one time.
Oh, yeah. This is a great story. Tell it for anybody that's new to it, though.
Went to an ABC store, and they had like cases of Michter's 20s. And this was when they had the SW juice and stuff. And I knew that, but they were $600 a piece. And I'm like, I'll buy 2. And so I sold one. I think I sold it. I doubled my money on it and then drank the other. And I was like,
I'll just do this again.
And it was the dumbest thing ever. Like now those bottles, I've seen them on Sotheby auctions for like $20,000 and stuff.
They're up there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have your own Michter's 20 story. You know, I got my own Michter's 20 story as well when it was the height of my hunting days in 2014. And I got the call, actually not a call, but, you know, little birdie flew up in the air, whatever it is. The place right up the street where you're at Party Mart.
Yeah.
That there was a Michter's 20 on the shelf. And I was like, I'm going for it. And by the way, I didn't know what it cost. I didn't know anything. I just said, I've only heard about this thing of legends. I'm just going to go and get it. And so you go, it's on the shelf, no price tag, anything. And I give it to the cashier and she rings it up. Yeah. I think it was like, it's either $400 or $600. I mean, probably $600. And I was like, oh no. And I shakingly gave my credit card to the cashier and my hand was shaking because I knew that I was going to get in trouble for this. So I buy it. I go out to the car and I sit there in the parking lot and I look at it. And the only thing that's going through my head is the sound of my wife going, what the hell are you thinking right now?
Yeah.
And just yelling at me and screaming. And I have not left the parking lot yet. I'm sitting there and I just look at the bag and the voices are running through my head and I cave and I go back into Party Mart and I return the bottle.
Oh my gosh.
And I return the bottle and I get the money back on my credit card. One of the biggest whiskey regrets to my date.
So that wasn't the Michter's 20s that we would always come to your house and be like, you can drink whatever you want. And we're like, Michter's 20.
After that, I overpaid for Michter's 20 every single year.
Every single time?
Yeah. I didn't realize what I had.
It is truly best of the best, usually.
It's something very, very, very fun. Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep talking about some other kind of really expensive bottles, but we're also going back into not only just Willett, but also churches. So Father Jim Sitko, is it Sitko? Sitko? I think it's Sitko of Lexington is concluding his collectible papal series. Anybody know that Father Jim was one that he used to go and get bottles of Willett, and I think he picked a few barrels of it and then also had the Pope sign these over the years.
Yeah, they were charity barrels. Him and Drew kind of collaborated on them. But yeah, most of the barrels were sold for charity, and then he would, go ahead.
Well, anyway,
he would deliver a bottle to the Pope.
He would.
Yes.
Apparently it's over now because this is the final one. But
it's a new Pope, so
there you go. Maybe we'll want to be able to do it. Anyway, this is the first ever 11-year family estate wheated bourbon, bottled 125 proof, and this release features the coat of arms of the newly elected American-born pontiff Pope Leo XIV
from Chicago.
Yes. The bottles become available starting today, which is Tuesday, November 11th, with proceeds supporting charitable initiatives, including Father Jim's work as the Papal missionary of mercy. So if you want to acquire these, first you can directly purchase. Go ahead and you can do that. There are a limited number available for a donation of around $1,267. And that matches, of course, Pope Leo's position. And there's also an online auction where 25 bottles will be auctioned off, starting with online bids starting at $750. There's also an online raffle where 3 bottles will be raffled at $100 a chance with 100 tickets available. The auction and raffle run through Tuesday, November 18th. So go ahead and do it. The proceeds will benefit the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund, Troopers Island, and Father Jim's various charity efforts.
I think this is super cool. And Father Jim was so gracious whenever we had that shooting here in Louisville, took my friend's life, and we did that fundraiser. He graciously donated one of these bottles. And it was funny. I remember when we were, not funny, but we were packing up these bottles, but it was like pickup, and one of the wives was sent from the husband to go pick up her bottle. And
was this coming to our warehouse to pick it up?
No, we did it at Holy Trinity, our church.
Oh, okay.
And so she picks it up, and she's like, because he just thought he won like a Willett, and she sends him the picture, and he FaceTime. He's like, "That's the bottle." I go, "Oh my God!" It was just hilarious. And she had like no idea.
It's the Pope bottle.
It's the Pope bottle. So it's pretty cool.
That's very awesome.
Thank you, Father Jim, for donating the last.
Yes, yeah, very cool. Congratulations on the last one happening here too.
Yep.
All right, so we got 4 more. Let's go ahead and kind of scream through these here. So Jack Daniels and the Armed Services YMCA are launching the 15th year of Operation Ride Home. This is a program that helps junior enlisted service members and their families travel home for the holidays. And since 2011, the program has reunited more than 14,000 service members with loved ones and raised over $3.5 million in travel assistance. And to celebrate the milestone this year, Jack Daniels has increased its annual kickoff donation to $150,000 and is inviting the public to contribute to the cause. This probably should have been the bourbon news, but I forgot to move it.
That's okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
It's here.
There you go. Home for the holidays.
Yes, sir.
Booker's Bourbon is releasing batch number 4. This is the Phantom Pipes batch. Not too sure what
Pipes.
that. Yeah. Right. This batch is inspired by the maze of pipes discovered in the rafters of the Boston Distillery, which is the remnants of Booker No's tinkering. Bottled uncut and unfiltered at 126.4 proof. After more than 7 years in the rickhouses, the batch is comprised of barrels of 5 different production dates, with the youngest being 7 years, 6 months, and 15 days.
All right.
I know.
Pipes.
Maze of pipes.
They are digging Harvard stories now.
I mean, you think they just walk around like, what's all that? Oh, that's a bunch of pipes. Who did that? I guess we can say Booker did it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Booker might have had a hand in it, but I'm sure it's not Booker that actually started installing those
There's
pipes.
Our next batch.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, the next batch you're going to call of ours are Kenny's ability to squeeze and shine up some stainless steel.
That's right.
Yeah, I did some polishing this morning of a new toy that we got in. Maybe we'll talk about it at some point.
Barkeeper's friend.
Yes. This is actually we'll do this one first, and then we'll save our friends for BBC for last here. So Buffalo Trace has announced a new Sazerac Rye foolproof as a permanent expression added to the Sazerac Rye whiskey portfolio. Born from their recent completed $1.2 billion expansion, Sazerac Rye Foolproof amplifies the brand's hallmark spice and pepper character. It will be available in select markets beginning November 2025. Retail price of only $40.
$40.
I know. And it will host a limited time Sazerac Rye vertical tasting that's going to be happening November 14th through the 16th at the distillery, featuring the complete Sazerac Rye portfolio.
You know, how's it different than Handy? But who cares? You know,
at that point, I don't think there is.
Yeah,
that we've always said that Thomas H. Handy was nothing but barrel proof Sazerac Rye.
Yep.
So
I guess it's just more affordable, approachable.
Just going to be this is definitely going to be more affordable at only $40 versus I guess $100.
Does this taint the Handy brand, Kenny?
Yes, it does. But here's the thing: I don't think anybody actually knows about it. That would be the difference. If you knew, if they came out with Thomas H. Handy the Younger, that
yeah, but they have Sazerac regular, then they have Sazerac 18.
See, but that's the difference between the power and brand, because the idea of just the Sazerac. All right, I see what you're saying between Sazerac Rye and 18. I don't know, but I don't think it is.
It's the same thing as Willett Family Estate.
But no, because Sazerac 18 is very much either A, unattainable or unknown about, versus the Sazerac Rye, which is just like littered everywhere. Right? It's like the fake Labubus versus the real Labubu.
Oh gosh, Labubus. I hate those things.
All right, let's do our last one here. Bardstown Bourbon Company has announced the release of its latest, called Normandy Calvados Brandy Barrel Finish, the third and final offering in its 2025 Distillery Reserve series. I hope it's the final one. We're entering the end of the year here. This limited edition expression features a custom bourbon blend between 11 and 12 years, finished for 28 months in Calvados brandy casks, sourced from Christian Drouin House in Normandy, France, and master.
Great house.
It's the best house, honestly. Great bathrooms out there. They had a great bidet in there. Master blender Dan Calloway described the result as an elegant confluence of a crisp orchard fruit and velvety bourbon sweetness.
He says that with a smile.
And he sure did. But the whiskey is bottled at 104.2 proof, presented in 375 ml bottles for a retail price of $100. Will be available in extremely limited quantity starting Black Friday at its Distillery gift shop and Louisville tasting room.
And if you can't get one, just come right next door.
Yeah, it's like we got, I think, last I checked, there's a little bit less than 16 bottles of Old Anvil remaining.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Run low.
Mm-hmm.
But go get your Calvados. They did a Calvados before. I'm almost positive. That was really good. I love Calvados as a finishing vessel, but especially from that house.
It's a great house.
It's got great heated tiles and
who runs this house?
That's right. But
Normandy Calvados.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it because the first two, since they've done this Distillery Reserve, the Cathedral and the Hokkaido, have been really exceptional. So hopefully I can keep this train going. I know how difficult it is to keep on bringing the hits.
Hey, but they were planning this for a while because this is 28 months.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting for a while. I think Dan was still practicing the French horn when they laid this one down.
That's right. He was playing in the house whenever.
He sure was. All right, that is it. That is This Week in Bourbon. Thank you all for sticking with us. There was a lot more on the second half of the show than there was in the first half. But with that, cheers, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Toodles.